What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw, for, Too Raw, Too Raw, Too Raw, Too Raw, Too Raw for TV. Had to get that right. Voice kind of creaked a little bit. Too Raw, Too Raw. Man, it's too raw for TV, man. But anyway, this is something that shout out to Black Reality TV. He had posted this uh, in a little chat group that we're in. So there are reports from an anonymous NBA executive that the Memphis Grizzlies may try to move John Morant in the event that the Grizzlies flame out this postseason. You know, if they don't meet expectations as far as performance this season and or postseason, that they may consider moving him, and that might be one of the shock um, transactions trade this offseason, moving John Morant. And, you know, if this is credible, okay, and I guess it is, first of all, we don't know whether this could be something that somebody said where they were, and I'm not talking about the NBA executive, I'm talking about the sources. Maybe this was something that was said half joking or half serious, and it's been repeated as if it's more serious than what it was. But considering the trade that just went down with Luka Doncic that nobody saw coming, maybe that's the climate right now in the NBA where almost nobody is safe. So look, let's look at this. Okay, I don't have the data in front of me. I don't have any data in front of me saying this, right? But this is just from my memory and just from observation. Okay. Uh it does seem like this is something that could potentially happen. John Morant has had some injury issues. Okay. Um, there have been some seasons where he has missed a significant amount of games due to injuries. Um, his playoff performances, from what I have been able to see, have been somewhat. Also, he has a history. We know the history when it comes to John Morant. I think that basically he's a good dude. I know he comes from a good home environment. I think he's just young and has made some poor mistakes. Okay. And has made some poor decisions. And unfortunately, those poor decisions have caused him to be involved in some scandalous situations. Although, the media caters to a certain demographic when they do talk about these things. Like, I just find it incredible. Hate to inject football in this, but I find it absolutely incredible that the the same individuals who are going in on John Morant with the gun situation have nothing to say with Justin Tucker. But I do see that. Also, I remember that in the games when he hasn't played, the Memphis Grizzlies have been competitive. I don't know the wins loss records for his career, but it seems like they won a lot of games when he hasn't played, and that the coaches, forget his name, Jenkins. It seems like whenever John Morant has not been available, the Memphis Grizzlies have still played relatively well and have been competitive. Matter of fact, wasn't it when he was gone that they set the NBA record for largest margin of victory? I think it was a game when he wasn't available. I think they won by 73 points or something like that. So I know it was a couple years ago, but this is definitely a team that, considering the Memphis Grizzlies' history, they have a history of large turnover and frequent turnover. Um, so if you're the Grizzlies organization, you may feel like, look, we could get a lot of valuable assets in exchange for John Morant and do a quick rebuild, and maybe in a couple of years we'll be contenders again because they've already had pieces that they have jettisoned out of Memphis in recent years, and they have had a pretty solid history of being able to rebuild and be at least competitive over the last 15 years if you really look at the Grizzlies organization. Another thing, too, this is just a conspiracy theory on my part. I think when you look at the NBA landscape, right, especially with the Luka trade, I get the impression that the league knows they have a ratings problem. So I think what they're trying to do, especially now that they're nearing the end of the LeBron era, they're trying to put, and you might make an argument, they're trying to put their stars in large markets. Uh, if you want to believe that the NBA knew about the Luka trade, Luka is a guy that obviously checks certain boxes, and he even checks a box that LeBron couldn't check, if you catch my drift. Put him in LA, that's a large market, extremely large market. Jason Tatum, a guy they've been pushing as a future star of the league. Uh, Boston, Chicago needs a star. I'm not saying that's where he's going, uh, but John Morant, I think, would fit in marvelously with the city of Chicago. They need a star. I'm just saying. Uh, they definitely want to put somebody in Miami. You know the media wants somebody in Miami bad. That's a star. If Kevin Durant gets traded, don't be surprised if he gets traded to the Miami Heat or something like that. If they have the assets to do it. Uh, so I do think that the league wants to put its stars in the large markets, um, so that they think that would bring more enthusiasm in the NBA. Because if not, they feel like they're wasting their best players in the smaller markets. Because look, the NBA was thriving more so just 10 years ago, 8, 9, 10 years ago, when there wasn't as much parity, right? When we all pretty much knew at the beginning of the year, barring injury, that the Warriors and Cavaliers were more than likely going to be in the NBA Finals, right? And we knew this. And while a lot of us complained about that, the NBA product was still better. So, I could see potentially John Morant being moved. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but, you know, we'll see. Anyway, tell me what you guys think.